welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Grandon Group presents the LOCKBOX, brought to you by the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister real estate team. And, of course, I'm happy today because Angela is back from vacation.
Yay! Woo woo!
All right, how was vacation?
It was amazing.
Oh, perfect. Did you miss any mortgages while you were gone?
Of course not. We have an entire team to help, so that's the beauty of it. If if one of us are on vacation, it's okay.
No, that's perfect.
The whole team can help.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So, we're moving in, for us, it's summertime almost year-round. But so technically,
Yes.
School starts here in a few weeks.
It does.
So we're moving into summer. It's coming to an end. So it's time to start thinking about fall and, getting your house cleaned up and ready to go.
I love the fall. It's my favorite.
It is. It's
Me
a
too.
blast.
Yeah,
It's
it
an
is.
absolute blast. So, one of the great things about the show is that, we want to sell real estate and stuff like that, but we love the people we bring on.
We do. Yeah, it's so much fun. We meet the neatest people, and they're all here in Arizona.
They are.
It's
And the
amazing.
people we've been bringing on are just really great people and stuff. And so today, and you probably don't know this, so you're familiar with Mesa, Arizona, right?
I am, yes.
Okay, so we're going to get into some little history on Mesa.
Okay.
But so today we have, I consider him a kind of an icon because he's been around here since he was like 11, 12 years old. But he's from Utah, but he moved here and he's done so much for the state of Arizona. Awesome. So everybody, welcome Matt Salmon.
Hey, how you
welcome.
doing? Good to be here.
How's it going?
Really great.
Good.
Really great. Braving the summer just like everybody else.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So why don't you tell everybody what you're going to be doing here in 2022?
Well, I'm spending all my time going out and talking to people all across Arizona. Yesterday, I was in Kingman and Lake Havasu. And the week before that, I was up in the White Mountains in Holbrook and Snowflake and Taylor and Pinetop Lakeside and Cholo. And just talking to folks about what's important to them. I'm running for governor, the great state of Arizona. And, I think it's time to have a leader that actually listens to everybody. And, what works here in Phoenix, what works in Mesa doesn't necessarily work in Yuma or Tucson or, we got to figure out what everybody needs.
Absolutely. So you notice he went to all the cool places while we're sweating here in 120?
I know.
Well, the White
right?
Mountains were really nice.
Yeah, that weather's incredible.
Lake Havasu was kind of fun too. Wanted to jump in the lake. People tell me to jump in the lake all the time, but I didn't do it.
Well, so
Maybe
Matt
next
has been around a long time. He's been through the different different areas of politics and stuff like that. And I think it's fantastic that you're going to be running for governor.
Thanks.
Because this is, personally, I think it's the greatest state in the country.
Oh, by far.
agree.
We have more freedom, more growth, more opportunity, and we want to keep it that way.
So I know I have to ask, that's a huge job. Why do you want to run for governor?
Honestly, I think the stakes are really high. They've never been higher. There's so much stress and pressure coming from the federal government for major changes. I mean, the federal government is trying to really, right now, jam socialism down our throats, and I think we need to fight it. We got a lot of folks moving from California, and I just want to remind them, why did you leave California in the first place? Don't make this state into another California. And so I think the stakes are really high, and the education of our kids, the safety of our streets, the security of our borders, all these things are incredibly important to me, and the election integrity, all these things. And that's why I'm stepping up.
No, I think that's great. And one of the great things is that Matt is, I don't want to say retired, no reason to do this, but this is why I love Arizona, because you get people like Matt that step up and they're like, you know what? I feel like I can have a change. And he's very accessible, unlike some of the other politicians out here in the state where you can't get a hold of him. I mean,
That's
look
awesome.
He's on a real estate show.
My
That's awesome.
staff has really been frustrated. I give my cell phone out to just about everybody. Hey, you got a problem? Call me up. And they're like, hey, Matt, everybody has your cell phone. Your phone's going to be ringing off the hook when you're governor. I said, well, that's what you're there for.
Well, so
Help people out.
So the people that are moving to Arizona, I want them to know who you are. So you grew up in the Mesa community. And now Mesa, and correct me if I'm wrong, was started back, it was founded like in 1878.
Well, I wasn't there.
It was the year after.
Yeah, but it was,
Fair enough.
it's been around for a long time.
So it was a Mormon colonist that settled it.
Okay.
And so this is the reason the streets, if you go into Mesa, they're super wide. And the reason being, before cars, we needed the wagons to be able to turn around. So isn't that why the streets are really wide?
That's my understanding.
Interesting.
And, it's really a great place to live. I've lived there most of my life and raised all my children. I have 8 of my 9 grandchildren that live within a square mile of me in Mesa, so it's heaven for me.
Yeah.
It's great.
It is. And not too long ago, it was all oranges. So you remember cruising through there?
In fact, the home that we live in was in Orange Grove.
No kidding.
Yeah, back in the day. The bad thing about that is you see a few of those little nasty critters with the stingers on them.
Yes.
All the bees?
The scorpions.
Oh, the scorpions, yep.
Yes.
But look how healthy you are from eating all those oranges.
That's right. That's right.
There's still a lot of oranges
Yeah.
out there. But Mesa, for Arizona, I think, you've got a lot of growth going on. I cannot believe the amount of growth going on in Mesa and the amount of people moving there.
It's amazing. It's right now, one of the biggest issues that we face as a state is we have a real housing shortage. I've talked to realtors, and I know you're probably having the exact same circumstance, but they're saying that you put your house up for sale and like within a couple days you have a bidding war and you sell your house for more than your asking price.
Well, you see, if he used the Grandon Group, he would have a bidding war in day one.
All right, that's good. And a better bidding war.
That's right.
So the other thing about Mesa is that maybe, I don't know if you know this, which would be great for the Hendricks team, it's the largest suburban city in the U.S. by population.
I did not know that.
So it's great. I was looking that up today. I'm like, is that true?
Yeah,
But it is.
500,000. It's the 3rd largest city in Arizona. Phoenix,
Wow.
Tucson, Mesa.
And Mesa.
Yep.
I
Yep.
didn't realize that.
Yep.
No, it's crazy.
incredible.
And it's really expansive because it covers a big area and stuff. And so some of the great things out there, we have one of the biggest companies that protects the U.S., Boeing.
Right.
Right.
And they make the Apache attack helicopter. I actually got to go up with them and fly in it one time.
Did you really?
It was so
wow.
cool.
What was that like?
It was really fun. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I also got to go up in one of the F-16s over at Luke Air Force Base.
No kidding.
Yeah, and this was when I was a member of Congress. And the pilot said, how many G's do you want to feel? And I said, I don't know. He said, well, how about 5? And I said, yeah. And I about passed out. Everything started going dark. And,
Wow.
and you wear these suits that
Okay.
compress on you, and it squeezes the blood back up into your head because that's what
Wow.
makes you pass out. And it was really cool. But he goes, is there any place you want to? We're flying over the Goldwater Range, and he goes, any place you want to see? And I was just joking. I go, yeah, the Grand Canyon. He goes, and we're off to the Grand Canyon. It took us like about 5 minutes. To
No
get there.
kidding.
Wow.
Oh, it was so cool. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Would you do that?
Heck no.
I'd love to. So
No
was it
way.
fun?
It was a real rush. It was really fun.
Did you go upside down?
We did. We went upside down. We did some barrels, and then we would go down like we were dive bombing, and then go straight back up. And that's when
my
you really got
gosh.
the G's.
Wow.
That
you go
is
like,
so cool.
You go like straight back up, and
Yeah.
you'd see your eyes kind of, the darkness kind of closing in on you like you're going to pass out. And then you're supposed to kind of grunt, to get your blood going back up into your head. But it was really cool.
That is cool. What an experience.
And so before we went on air, we were talking about some other Arizona icons and an old radio DJ, because we're here in Dave Pratt Studios.
Yes.
So one of his friends as well was W. Stephen Martin, who I grew up with.
And W is one of my best friends.
Yeah.
In fact, I invited him to come with me. This was back in the 90s when I served in Congress. And they have a White House Christmas party every year. And I invited him to come back with me to go to the White House Christmas party. And this is a funny story. So his trademark is he always wears red tennis shoes.
Right.
And so he wears his tux with these red tennis shoes. And we're up there with Bill Clinton and Hillary getting our picture taken. He's wearing these red tennis shoes. And the president looks at him and goes, that's really interesting there. And W goes, well, thank you very much. Anyway, so he takes a picture of Hillary, Bill, W, and me. And then W sends it out as a Christmas card, but he cropped me out.
Oh my goodness.
I hope he's
really
listening.
funny.
That is awesome. So some of the things in Mesa, and we can kind of focus a little on Mesa because that's where you're at. There's an airport there that is growing tremendously.
Right. Mesa Gateway,
Mesa Gateway.
which is growing leaps and bounds, and they're having more and more destinations every day.
Wow.
It's great.
It's crazy.
It's really great.
And so, and then in the past, and she's sitting over here in the lobby there, but we had East Valley Institute of Technology. So, there's a lot of
I
great
am
things.
such a big fan of theirs. They are doing so many wonderful things. And my dear friend, Shelley, who is on the board, is one of the reasons that they're doing so great, because she brings common sense ideas into the board, and ultimately it gets into the classroom. And ultimately, that's what we want. We want our kids to be able to leave school having some tools so they can go succeed in life. And even as it's one of our crown jewels.
Well, as governor, I mean, you want to obviously put a team together where you don't have to watch every little thing, but you want common sense, basically.
Well, that's really what it's all about. You know, a lot of people come up with these crazy ideas, but the truth is, the more that we can be about getting government out of the way so that business can succeed, like what you do. I mean, we shouldn't be interfering with what you're trying to do as a realtor. Just, you know, allow business to grow, and they hire people, and everybody wins.
No, that's exactly it. And so, and one great thing too about Matt, and this is why he did great when he was in Congress and stuff, is that you've recognized that every single area has a different personality and has a different want and need.
Big time. What works in Phoenix doesn't necessarily work in Yuma, Arizona.
Right.
And I've been to Yuma many times, or, you know, up in the White Mountains, or you know, in Mojave County, or up in Globe. I mean, we got such a diverse state. I mean, when you think about it, you know, here we're pretty much at sea level, and then you go up into the White Mountains, and there's like, I was in Alpine, Arizona. It's like 8,000 feet.
Wow.
I mean, it's a difference between night and day.
Yeah.
And this was just like last week, and at night it was in the 50s
Wow.
in Arizona.
Oh.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, we have such a diverse state and so many different opportunities. But the thing is, it's not one size fits all.
Right.
All of them have their own needs, and that's what a good leader does, is figures out, how can I help everybody? So,
Well,
and when we talk about economic development in the state, it's not just for Phoenix, it's for the whole state. And rural Arizona, they have special needs, and the things that you know, they can be successful with, they're different than here.
No, absolutely. I was just going to say, you know, when you talk about Arizona, people think Phoenix, but you've got Flagstaff, you've got the Navajo Reservation, and everybody has different needs. And you've been going out there talking to everybody.
I have, and it's really, I mean, it's been such an eye-opener for me to listen to the different folks. One of the things that's really important is that we've really got to pursue 5G technology, you know, for broadband in the state. Because one of the things, you know, COVID was a really horrible thing, and it's like coming out of the twilight zone right now after dealing with COVID. But one of the good things that came out of COVID is that a lot of companies learned that people can work from home.
Right.
And they can be anywhere. They don't have to live in Phoenix. You could live in Flagstaff, and you can do a Zoom there just as easily as you can in Phoenix. And so we ought to do everything we can to make sure that they have the technology. That's really good for the schools, too, because technology in the schools has really become important.
Well, and what about the people that don't have this access out over on their reservation?
It breaks my heart. And it's not only about access to that kind of technology, but when you get to the Navajo Nation, there's 50% of the people there that don't even have running water.
Wow.
That's the truth.
Goodness.
It's like a third world, you know, operation, and they don't even have electricity either. Dirt floors in their homes. It's really sad.
No, but
we could do better than that.
But is that a choice they make, or is it a government fault, or?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons for it, but we've got to find opportunities for commerce,
Right.
For the Navajo Nation. You know, they're off there in the Four Corners area, and why don't we do manufacturing on the Navajo Nation? There's a lot of people there that are willing to work, and there was a big electric plant there called the Navajo Generation Plant, and because of the edict from the EPA, they ended up closing it down because it was powered by coal. And it was closed down, shut down. There was a big coal operation there called Peabody Coal, and then the plant, and that's where a lot of the Navajo and the Hopi, they worked.
Wow.
And now that it's gone, we've got to figure out how can we help bring more opportunity for them.
Well, and as you bring opportunity, how do you preserve history? Because, I mean, these guys have to know the history from where they've been in order to go forward.
Well, it's kind of uncanny, but, you know, when you go to the Navajo Nation, they're very, you know, family-oriented, community-oriented folks, and they're really great people, and history is really an important part of them. They love Mother Earth. You know, they're just really good people.
So when you go and visit them, I mean, you take that into consideration that there's some things, kind of like the Amish maybe a little bit. They don't want to necessarily jump forward to the technology that we have now. They just want to move forward a little bit, make life a little easier.
I think that they really would like to have the technology and the opportunities for their kids, especially when it comes to education. And it's really hard to recruit really top talent teachers to go to that area of the state. And so we got to dial that one in. It's really important.
And then as far as the rest of the state, I mean, you've seen it grow. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And so, I mean, I think we're all about, well, you're the youngest one, but here, but but you've seen a ton of growth here.
Oh, man.
What do you envision 20 years from now for Arizona?
Oh, I think we're going to be growing a lot more. And if we're going to do that, we have to solve our water problem. That's a big deal. And it's very complex, a lot of moving parts, but that's one of the issues we have to solve. We've been in a 19-year drought, and we've got to fix that. But what I envision is in 20 years, if I am successful in doing what I want to do, I want to make Arizona the innovation capital of the world. You know, that we're coming up with the best ideas for the best and newest technologies, and companies are growing from, you know, research to technology transfer to thriving industries, you know, and that to me is the next step for Arizona, that we will have some of the most innovative people in the country coming up with things that people want and people need, and technologies that are going to make our lives lots better. And then along the way, creating great jobs for our kids so they don't have to leave Arizona to get a good job. And a lot of folks out there are going to appreciate that.
So as a, future governor, very quickly coming up, we've got some great sport teams. Do you see this growing as a sports mecca?
Oh, man. I think in a way we have become a sports mecca. You know, when you look at all of the different teams that are here, and who doesn't love the Suns? I mean, I remember when I was a kid, the Phoenix Suns were in a championship game, and there was 3 overtimes. And the very last shot, you know, that took us into the 3rd overtime was he was fading out, of the sidelines and threw up a Hail Mary, and it swished.
Oh, nice.
And, I mean, it was, I think it was Dick Van Arsdale.
Oh, at the Madhouse.
At the But you know what? This Suns team, boy, they've think about it. 3 years ago, they were the worst team in the NBA. Now they're the best. Pretty cool.
And now, as you know, a lot of people don't look at this kind of stuff, but the amount of economic impact it has when a team is winning in Arizona, isn't it huge?
Oh, big time. It's very huge. And you know, when the Cardinals have been on fire, same thing. It's been a big economic impact. Or when we've hosted the Super Bowl, big deal. Remember, you know, back to the early 2000s when we won, the baseball.
World Series.
Right, the World Series. And the Diamondbacks and Gonzo still love them.
Yes.
I have to tell you another funny story, though, because it was a sad place. I was at a funeral for a friend, but while I'm there, a guy comes up to me and says, I've been wanting to meet you for the longest time. And he shakes my hand. It's Tim Salmon. Remember who played for the Angels?
Yeah.
And, you know, we share the same last name. And he was telling me, back in 2002 when I ran for governor before, there were people showing up at the Angels games with Salmon for Governor signs, and he thought, you know, what's that all about? And trying to get me to run for governor? What's the deal? And then he found out, you know, about me, and he came up to me at the funeral, and we actually became, you know, friends instantly. But just kind of funny how things like that happen.
No, absolutely.
It is funny.
Absolutely. I think it's great that you're jumping back in here, especially somebody who's actually has the experience, because you've ran businesses and everything else.
Right.
So you're not just a politician or anything like that.
Oh, no. In fact, I'm 63 years old. And
does he look good, though? Yes. When he walked in, I was like, God, he has not aged. Looks great.
You are the politician.
So vote for Jason.
Anyway, I served in politics for 14 years. Obviously, I've been working a lot more than 14 years. And yes, I've created businesses. I've been, you know, the CEO of companies. I've worked in big companies. I've worked in a Fortune 500 company for many, many years. I was the head of a trade association in our nation's capital. It was a telecom trade association. I was the president of that. And so I have a lot of background, you know, in different areas. I'd love to bring all that to bear to help Arizona.
No, I think it's fantastic. Everyone was excited. There was a lot of people that were excited because there was like a rumor before you announced. And they were like, no way, is he going to run for governor? I thought he was retired and stuff. But yeah, I think this is great that it's something, you know, you're kicked back, you're retired, you can do whatever. And all of a sudden you're just like, you know what, this is what Arizona needs. And I think Arizona does need.
Well, I appreciate it. And if I do my job right, you're going to sell lots and lots more homes.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I like that.
So somebody that wants to make donations, what site can they go to? And how can they reach out to
actually,
you?
it's easy. It's my name. MattSalmonForaz.com.
And then obviously you have a Facebook page.
Yep, and they can actually move it. If they go to my website, they can go to my Facebook page, they can go to everything.
No, that's great.
Nice.
And I think it's important, especially if you're thinking about moving to Arizona, or if you're moving out of Arizona or whatever, it's important to reach out to these people that are running and stuff. I mean, and ask questions. You want to be respectful, but ask tough questions.
Well, let's get beyond Miss America answers.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of really important issues that we face as a country, and I think it's really important to have somebody that has experience. I served at the state level. I served at the federal level. I know these issues inside and out, and I really believe I can make a difference on them. Policies matter, and the way we run our state matters. And I came up with this slogan just the other day. Let me see what you think about it. Not shiny and new, but tried and true. What do you think?
What do you think?
I think it gets the message across.
It is.
For
That's
sure.
good. No,
Yeah.
that's great.
Right.
Well, and then also you've got family here too, which is another important factor. You get some of these people that fly in, they're like, I'm going to run for an office in Arizona, and they have no experience in Arizona, and your family's within a mile of where you live.
Well, that's right. My brother and his wife still live here. My folks have both passed away, but my wife comes from a family of 8 kids, and most of those families still live in Arizona. Her dad and mom came from large families, so when we go to reunions, it's like gargantuan. And if I can just convince all them to vote for me, I think I got this in the bag.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Well, we're looking forward to helping out anyway. And so, what are some things people don't know about you? Because I know people want to say, okay, what does Matt say? What's your favorite movie?
Oh gosh, I have a few favorite movies. I'm a big John Wayne fan.
Oh, awesome.
And so Big Jake. In fact, I named one of my children after Jake, Big Jake. His name is Jake. It was not big; it's Jake. So anyway, that's one of my favorite movies. I love Mr. Smith Goes to Washington with Jimmy Stewart. It really inspires me. I love that movie. I also love It's a Wonderful Life around Christmas time. But one of my favorite movies in the last 20 years or so was The Untouchables.
Oh, fantastic.
yeah.
And I love Sean Connery. I mean, I love him. And he played Jimmy Malone, and he was amazing. And one of the things he said has kind of become like my motto. He said, "The Lord hates a coward."
Yep.
You got it. In fact, remember when he told Elliot Ness, who was played by Kevin Costner, he said, if they bring a knife, we bring a gun. They put one of ours in the hospital, we put one of theirs in the morgue. That's the Chicago way. And, I loved it. It was a great movie.
No, have you seen The Untouchables?
I have,
Angela?
yeah.
It is a great movie. It was on the other
Great
night.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one you can just keep watching over and
Yeah.
over.
And a lot of, I like Russell Crowe a lot too. Gladiator was another one of my favorite movies. Great
Yeah.
movie. You got me started. I am a movie buff, and I love movies. I love music, and I love all kinds of music. I'm really kind of partial to rock. I used to be the lead singer in a band.
Oh, what was the name of it?
It was Jammin' Salmon.
Okay, Jam and Salmon.
That's great.
So, and we did a lot of Eagles, music, stuff like that. But I do a pretty mean Elvis impersonation. That's why I was joking about Elvis earlier.
Oh, well, let's hear it.
Well, baby, that'll make you mad. Something that I might have said. Yeah.
Yeah, you did pretty good, huh?
Yes, that was good.
No, that's great. That's great. So how can people reach out to you again to donate, donate money and time? I mean,
Yeah.
some people just don't have the money to do it. So volunteer, because are you done with signatures, or you still need signatures?
We're still working on some signatures, so that'd be helpful. But yeah, go to our website again. It's Matt Salmon 4, and not the number 4, the letter, or excuse me, the word 4. MattSalmon4AZ.com.
And his staff's awesome. Colin is fantastic.
Yeah.
I know you work with a couple other people that are he's got a great staff. It's accessible. And again, if you guys have questions, ask. And ask the tough questions. Ask questions about development, border, whatever it is, because this is an important
Education,
job.
economy, safety on the streets. These things are all incredibly important, and it all fits together in a way that makes Arizona stay the best state in the country. Like I said to you earlier, we have more opportunity, more growth, and more freedom, I think, than any other state, and I think we ought to do everything we can to preserve that.
And 365 days of sunshine.
I know.
That's right.
It's beautiful.
Hey, Angela, how can people get a hold of you?
Sure. So they can get a hold of the Hendrick team either by email, hendrickteam@vipmtginc.com, or by phone, of course, 623-979-5523.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if Matt Salmon becomes governor and he's like, okay, There's no more realtors except Jason Grandon from the Grandon Group, Arizona's #1 brother and sister team, and Angela. That'd be fantastic.
So did you want me to pass a law basically outlining all of the realtors?
That could be a good deal. Oh, and Robin's laughing, Shelly's laughing. No, it's great. And the other thing too, for those of you thinking about moving to Mesa, Mesa has so much history in it, so we love it. I mean, it really does.
And it's a great place to live, and it's a great place to raise a family. Look, it's a great place. I've really enjoyed it all my life. Just like Shelly, I'm a Mesa jackrabbit. We call them mighty jackrabbits. Now, that might be a little bit of an oxymoron you've never seen. But if you've ever seen the movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail,
Yep.
you know that rabbits can be dangerous.
Yep, exactly.
That's right.
That's awesome.
This is great. Matt, so great
Yes.
having you on
Right.
here and stuff. So Matt Salmon for governor, right?
Yes, sir.
And hey, you guys reach out to us, reach out to Matt and stuff, get involved. It's really important. That's what makes Arizona great. And thanks again for joining us for another episode of The Lockbox, brought to you by the Grandon Group. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.